Welcome fans of Lukas Graham and people who maybe aren't familiar with his music, and welcome maybe even Lukas Graham himself if he's watching this video. You're all welcome here on Most Amazing Top 10. My name is Danny Berg and today we've got the top 10 Lukas Graham facts you didn't know. Probably, unless you are Lukas Graham, you probably did know them. So Lukas Graham Forshammer is the lead vocalist of the Danish pop group known as Lukas Graham, obviously named after him. Wikipedia describes them as a Danish pop soul band, but you'd be wrong to think they're anything close to like a Danish version of One Direction. Fans of Lukas and the group will tell you to just listen to some of their biggest hits. I did, and I have to say I can definitely kind of see how this guy is making waves. Although Lukas is still in his 20s, he seems to write well beyond his years. His smash hit 7 Years is about growing old and his father's death. Mama Said is about chasing his Hollywood dreams despite growing up in a Danish commune, and his song Funeral is about his own funeral. Intense stuff. Now if that sounds like an unlikely success story for the next big pop star, then maybe that's exactly what's making him so successful. So why don't we delve into 10 facts about him, shall we? Yes, I think we shall. Let's start at the beginning with number 10. Lukas grew up in Freetown, Christiania, which is a small neighborhood commune in the middle of Denmark's capital, Copenhagen. Now it's in the city, but not part of the city, and about 1,000 people have lived there since it was claimed by anarchists back in 1971. They pride themselves on living simply and freely above all else. It was here that Lukas grew up in an area where cars and streetlights were not allowed. Apparently only a few of his neighbors even had running water. Lukas himself was actually born onto a couch, and if that was me, I probably wouldn't have left. I love couches, sounds like a pretty cool place to get born. It sounds like humble beginnings, but Lukas would go far from that couch. That sounded a lot more epic in my head. Next up at number 9. Before Lukas got into music, he dabbled a bit in acting. Yes, he appeared in a series of early 90s Danish movies called The Crumbs, where he played the character known as Grunk. Has anyone seen The Crumbs, the Danish movie The Crumbs? And anyone know about this character called the Grunk? I couldn't find much about it. I might watch it if it's good. But what's even more interesting than Grunk, I know, I can't believe there's anything more interesting than Grunk, is that Lukas actually did some voice acting for the Danish versions of some massive Hollywood movies. Lukas is actually the voice of Andy from Toy Story in Denmark. Yeah, he dubbed the character in Danish for Toy Story 2 aged just 10, and then he returned for Toy Story 3 in 2010. So for any Danish people watching, Andy and Lukas, same person. I find that crazy, I'm not even Danish. Moving on to number 8, and at the time of recording this video, Lukas's hit song 7 Years is currently sitting at the number 2 spot in the US charts. Now Lukas said in an interview that he thinks the reason for its success is that the age progression of the song captivates people. He said it's not necessarily a lot of beautiful lines and quotes in the song, it's the age that captures people first, because everyone is getting older. Now you might say that sounds like a little bit of a downer, but the song is pretty good indeed. I actually quite like it, so I will let you off with that one, Lukas, this one time. At number 7, Lukas is a classically trained soprano soloist and was a member of the world famous Copenhagen Boys Choir. His mother was also a music teacher, so basically he could sing higher and better than most of the population from a very young age. But Lukas said that was just what he did at school, and that when he got home he would listen to everything, all kinds of music from hip hop and even his dad's record collection with the likes of the Beatles and the Who. Coming in at number 6, when Lukas was 12 years old, he had a dream where he wanted to either become a lawyer or a pop star. I know those are two very polar opposite things. He chose to study law, specifically music rights. But when his music career began to take off, Lukas decided to leave his studies behind and follow his passion for music. But he said he's not done with law entirely, and that one day, if he gets the time in his music career, he would like to go back and complete his master's degree. So the moral of the story is to stay in school, kids, unless you get a major record deal, and then leave school, but play with the idea of going back one day when you have the time. Never forget that rule, kids. At number 5, Lukas is half Irish. His Irish father fell in love with Lukas's Danish mother and they settled down in Copenhagen. His father worked a number of jobs, including an oven restorer, a garbage handler, and even a music booker. He says that his father's love of Irish folk music had a lasting impact on him, and it seems like the connection to his Irish father are never too far from his mind. Take the album art, for example, for 7 years, which depicts a young Lukas and his father overlooking a cliff into the Irish Sea. Sadly, Lukas's father died in September 2012, aged 61, from a heart attack. Lukas has said in an interview that he isn't afraid to cry when talking about how much his dad meant to him. He said his heart breaks every single day when he thinks about his dad not being there. And anyone who knows his lyrics will be very familiar with his feelings about his father. On to number 4, and it's the fact that Lukas is really into rap. Yes, he credits his discovery of Dr. Dre in his teens as a huge influence on him as a musician and as a person, and he said that the rapper's album 2001 actually changed his life. He said the hooks and lyrics on the album didn't just influence his own music, he says many of today's artists also have their roots in it too, even if they don't know they do. He's also a big Tupac fan. On the website genius.com, where music fans can come together to share song lyrics, Lukas was the first person to annotate the first verse of Tupac's Life Goes On. He said the lyrics related to his own life of growing up in the almost lawless Christiana. Alright, moving on. Now that Lukas has made it big in America, I think it's fair to say, he's being interviewed a lot on a whole bunch of American things. One of them is American politics and what he thinks of various political leaders who are all running for the presidential race. But at number 3, there's one person he simply refuses to talk about. Can you guess who it is? When Radio.com asked him for his thoughts on Mr. Donald Trump, he said, "My mom told me I can't answer questions about him because the 50% of Americans who will vote for him will hate me, so I'm going to listen to my mom, but I think it's kinda clear which side he's on with a comment like that." Still, he's a smart businessman, who knows, maybe he could be the next Donald Trump. Hopefully not. Coming in at number 2, Lukas said he has very little patience for disrespectful people and fakes. In an interview with Vice, he said, "Until people show me disrespect, I will show you all the respect I've got, but if you break my trust, I swear to God, I will break you verbally within 15 seconds. I just like how specific he is with the verbal breaking there, exactly 15 seconds. He went on to say that he has zero time for bandwagoners who want to use his fame for their own desires, either to attract guys or girls or just to make money, and that his father's death really showed him how hard-earned money with people's heads. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know many stars who realize that kind of wisdom on their rise to fame. That insight usually comes after they've already crashed and burned in front of the whole world, so good stuff, Lukas. And finally, at number 1, in 2009, when Lukas was 20 years old, he moved from Denmark to Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina. This was a pretty bold move for a guy who admits he had never really traveled that much before, but Lukas said he needed to go to clear his head from his teenage years growing up in Copenhagen. He said he learned Spanish and he wrote some songs and drank a lot of wine. Actually, I think I might need to go and clear my head too. Lukas also spent a month that year living in New York. When he finally returned to Denmark, a fire had been lit inside him and he knew that he wanted to perform with a live band. Soon after, he formed the group and the rest is history. He's been getting bigger and bigger for a number of years now, but it's really in the last few months that he looks set to take the music industry by storm. Who knows, by the time this video goes out and you're watching this, he could have the number 1 spot in the US. If he has, you guys can all laugh at me and my lack of knowledge because I'm stuck in the past in a YouTube video. Go on, laugh it up. In the meantime, who do you want us to document next? We love to talk about things here on Most Amazing Top 10, but we also like to talk about people. So which people do you guys want to see 10 facts about? You name them and we look at them and go, yeah, that'd be quite a good one. We'll probably make it into a video just like this one. Subscribe if you want to see all our content here on this channel. We've actually got 2 videos coming out every single day, guys, so you can't afford to miss out. My name is Danny Burke, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find it somewhere down there, and I'll see you guys soon.